How is it going, you lovely lot? Welcome back to Tokyo Rising. Today is the start of our J-League season. It is our 5th season of this series, and I'm desperate to start with a win. Now, of course, in the off-season period, we really have strengthened the team, and whilst there is a minor dilemma with the fact we've got too many foreign players, I am feeling in a buoyant mood. The board's aim for this year is simply to attempt to avoid relegation. Our media prediction, with all transfers said and done, has us up in 12th, and today we take on YSCC in the opening game. They're predicted to finish bottom. We need to win. Before we do jump into that first game, we need to run the intro. After that, we're going to do a little squad rundown just to get you all caught up, and then we're going to get into another scary competitive year. I'm hoping we're going to play well. Let's see how we get on. Yes, folks, how is it going? Welcome back to the channel. You might be able to hear it in my voice. The voice is not much better than it has been as of late. In fact, I'm recording this the morning before it goes out. I've really tried to leave it as late as I can to rest up my voice. It's not really worked, has it? Now, coming up today, we've got the game against YSCC. We are also going to do the game against Matsumoto Yamaga. It is technically an away day. I'm just going to not do the away day. I need to minimize the amount of talking as much as possible, but we are going to do 2 matches nevertheless. Before all of that, though, I feel like it is worth doing a little bit of a squad rundown. We have got, I don't want to say a bloated squad, because that makes it sound like it's a bad thing, but it's certainly a squad that is inflated in size. It's a squad as well where, when I look at our best possible 11 that I've got blocked out, I'm not really going to be able to play it today because we've got, well, 2 players suspended and also 5 foreign players in this team. Just as a reminder, I'm allowed to have 4 foreign players in the match squad. Also, if you're wondering who's the guy with the afro in the middle, Lucas Ferreira, you know, the advanced playmaker. He didn't have a face. I've gone and found his face. He's more beautiful than I ever could have imagined. Now, I have done this the last few seasons, and I think it's quite nice, actually, given the fact there was a little bit of a break between summer transfer episodes, just to catch you back up with the squad. Now, in terms of the goalkeepers, we do have a new goalkeeper in our ranks in Nakano here. He's actually listed as our key player, and I really like the look of the 24-year-old. Super consistent, enjoys important matches. We picked him up on a free transfer from a team playing in the JFL in Fukushima United, a team who have tumbled down the league a little bit. This guy, on paper, might well be our best player. Now, typically in goalkeeping, kind of in Football Manager, it can be a bit hit and miss, can't it? Sometimes a player looks great on paper and then doesn't perform. I'm going to hope that Nakano looks great and does perform. If he doesn't step up and perform, our second choice will be Junpei Noda. He has been our first choice goalkeeper for the year just gone and the JFL season. Safe to say he was never super standout, but I feel like we can rely on him if needed. I have just noticed here his actual playing time is set to important player. If I try and lower this, is he going to get upset? If I lower it to back, I should not have done that, should I? He wants to talk about the fact he's no longer considered an important player. The level of competition in the squad is just too high, mate. We need to distribute it around. Okay, I'm going to tell him to have it his way. I'm just going to lie and pretend he's still an important player. I mean, hopefully that's not going to be too much of a problem. If it is, and we have to sell Noda, which I hope we won't have to do, Sasaki will be the next goalkeeper down the line. The next in the chain, the 24-year-old, not really as good, but for £250 a week, he does the job as a third choice. Now, when it comes to our defence, let's start with the big issue, the right-back position. Mitsuhashi is going to be starting as our starting right-back. It is now, if we look at things here, his 5th year playing as our starting right-back. He's been with us since the beginning of this save game. I was desperate to replace him in the off-season. It didn't work out. He's still here. That is a little bit annoying. In terms of the backups behind him, the next choice right-back will be Kato here. The 20-year-old might be slightly better than Mitsuhashi on paper. I don't know, actually. If we have a look at the comparison here, I'll let you guys be the judge. I think Mitsuhashi is better. Kato is the second choice, but he's actually naturally a centre-back. I think that versatility is useful. We have got a similar situation on the left-hand side, where we have one new signing in Daisuke Ono, who's a very good attacking left-back option, and then his understudy, a bit like Kato on the right, who is a right-back who can play centre-back. We have here Fukutsu. This guy's 18, looks absolutely phenomenal as a left-back as far as I'm concerned. He is going to be a good little left-back. Again, naturally a centre-back, which is a bit weird, but the nice thing, I suppose, with Fukatsu and also with Kato is they can both play on the bench and basically cover the entire defensive line. And that is my plan for this year. These two will play on the bench together. If we have any further injuries in the fullback area, Hattori is the next option in. 17 years old, can play on the left, can play on the right. Hopefully we're not going to need him, but he's just that useful, versatile wing-back. Centre-back isn't necessarily a position I love. Our starters for this year are the starters from last year in Yoshida and Ataki, 20 years old, respectively. They're two very very good centre-backs on paper, but in terms of the actual performances they put in for the year just gone, they really weren't up to snuff. If they're not up to snuff, the next option in will probably be Takeshi, who again, I did wonder if we might replace him this year. We are going to be sticking with him, at least for now. I like the 23-year-old. He's quite good in the air, which I think is needed at this level. Fourth choice centre-back for this year is going to be Takabe, 20 years old. We picked him up for a pretty decent amount, £550 a week, of course. He was signed as a free transfer, coming fresh out of high school. Again, quite good in the air, nice physicals on the whole. Can also play centre mid, which is nice. And the final player that's listed as a defender when I filter by defenders, but is probably more of a midfielder really, is Yoshikawa. He is the vice captain, 23 years old, not the craziest player, probably a little bit behind the overall power level of our squad and might struggle for first team football, but he's here as a nice little bit of backup on £300 a week. In the centre of the midfield, we've got a brilliant Brazilian duo. That is right, Vinicius Diniz, who wanted 2.7, I think it was, £1,000 a week to stick around at the club. He's unhappy because I'm not giving him that wage rise, by the way. He is one of our options, the more defensive option. Alongside him, Lucas Ferreira is going to be the more potent attacking option. I feel like within a two-man midfield, they kind of cover all bases, don't they? There's one that's more defensive, there's one that's a bit better going forward and a bit more creative, but overall, I think they are really going to be the engine of the team. Throughout the last few years with how we play, the centre mids are important. I think they're going to be more important than ever this year. In terms of the depth we have at centre mid, of course, we have Yoniyama, 18 years old, a player with a lot of potential I want to see develop. Does have, obviously, massive inconsistencies and concern over injuries, but when Ferreira's injured, this is the man we're going to turn to. Of course, I've already mentioned the likes of Yoshikawa and Takabe, two guys who are more defensively minded. Our final mid option is Watanabe, 21 years old. This guy can just play anywhere down the middle, and that's kind of useful to have. 21 years old, has some okay physicals, but he is definitely more of an aggressive ball winner. You could argue maybe we're a little bit light in the creative mid department. We have got one player who can maybe slot in there who's currently a striker. I'll talk more about him soon, but overall I am pretty happy with this depth. And of course, then we move into the wider areas where to start the year, we are going to be going with Hashizume out on the right. Of course, we've got a bit of a problem at right mid. And by a problem, I mean I have a load of strikers who can play right attacking mid who I'm going to play in that area. But it does mean we are going to be lining up asymmetrically. The 18-year-old here has crazy pace, crazy technicals. Out on the left-hand side, a more defensively minded player in Abdul Ahmed, of course, the Pakistani international, born in South Korea. He is a good little left-back. I like this guy a lot. Also, I did just say left-back there. He can play left wing-back. He can't play left-back. He's a left mid for sure. But despite the fact we've signed two new wide midfielders, last year's wide midfielders are still here. Komori, a decent little right mid option at 20 years old, just felt like it was time to upgrade from him. And a similar situation actually on the left-hand side where we maybe have a tiny bit more depth. Kainoki, of course, has been playing here out on the regular. Sakurai is another player who can definitely slot in and play at left midfielder for us. I feel like when it comes to the wide areas, we've got depth. And whilst I have devils I know, I think it's better the devil you don't know. So we're going with the two new signings, I think, today. Also, I keep forgetting, we do also have Koshimichi here. I don't think Koshimichi's ever actually going to play for us. And last but not least, in the striking department, like I said, we've got a few different strikers that can play at right attacking mid. To start the year, I've blocked out Omarov and Batata in the striking area. They are two players who are very good forwards. Both had very good years last year. Batata, 22 goals, 7 assists. Omarov, fewer games played, but 13 goals, 8 assists, 8 player of the matches as well in 26 games for the Kazakhstan international. I feel like, though, when you look at our team and the foreign player situation, at centre mid, I don't really want to take off either of our foreign centre mids. I think Ahmed at left mid is very, very important for us. So given the fact we're limited to 4 players, when all 5 foreign players are fit, it's probably going to be Omarov or Batata that makes way. And the reason for that is we've got depth in the striking area. Already talked about Sakurai, who's more of a left mid option, but can play at striker. But in terms of other players, Okamura is a really exciting player who I need to give game time to. He is one of the big earners at the club. He is probably going to start this first game of the year in place of one of the foreign players. He is the man who I alluded to, who I am also training to play at centre mid, just to add a more creative string to his bow. And of course, the other striker who's not already playing in the team in a starting position, a bit like Hashizume, is going to be Takagi. 22 years old, sadly is injured to start the year. He's actually going to be out for a few weeks. This guy didn't play amazingly at J3 level, and that's one of the reasons why I felt like we maybe needed a few more strikers, and I don't necessarily want to start this guy on the regular, in spite of the fact he did start 27 games last year. But nevertheless, the 22-year-old, when fit, probably will be called upon occasion. Anyway, I've tried to be succinct there whilst also giving you a bit of a deep dive into the whole squad. Hopefully you feel catched up now. Is that useful? Please let me know if that was actually useful, what I've just done down in the comments. Like I mentioned, we have got to shuffle things today because we have got some suspensions. Fukatsu is going to come in and make his debut at left back because Ono's suspended. Annoyingly, Kato, who's our depth right back option, is suspended as well, and so we're going to have to shuffle things around on the bench. Hattori, the youngster, who I was like, he'll be used in an emergency. We're starting the season with an emergency. He's going to be there. Takeshi is going to slot onto the bench for us at centre-back, and then it's just Hashizume at right attacking mid, who's unavailable for today's game. Komori is going to be the man we bring in there. I've just noticed I'm going to have two left mids on the bench today, no right mid. That's fine. I still have to get rid of a foreign player here, don't I? And like I mentioned, I think it's going to have to be in the striking area. I am going to give a start to the 17-year-old Okamura. Batata is going to be dropped. Annoyingly, though, Batata can't even be on the bench here. And because of all the injuries going on, of which, let's be honest, there's quite a few players injured and suspended to start the year, it does mean that on the bench as a backup striker is going to be Watanabe. This man is not a striker. I'm just going to hope the players on the pitch can get the goals for us. This must be one of my most injury-riddled squads ever to start a season. I say injury, actually. 4 of the players are just suspended. I feel like there is a weird issue with the database with players coming from university football where they just have a game suspended to kick things off. Nevertheless, though, I'm going to keep the faith in the players here. Lucas Ferreira, I'm hoping, is going to pull the strings. Of course, he is coming in to be a big addition in the middle, as is Okamura. The man has justified his inclusion. He's 17. He scores on his debut. Lucas Ferreira with a really nice pass forward. Omarov justifying the fact that I decided to keep him in this team over Batata. He squares it, and Okamura sneaks in at the near post to get an early goal. I want to get really excited about the fact we've scored so early on. Just as a little reminder, the team that we're taking on here are predicted to finish bottom. We really should be beating them. I want to beat them handsomely. Ahmed at left mid got a lot of flack in the comments of yesterday's video. I did spend £325,000 on him. I was going to say expecting fireworks. I mean, he's the more defensively minded winger in our team. With us having that more offensive attacking option out on the right-hand side, I felt like we needed that balance in the team. Nevertheless, though, I do need him to do some stuff, and well, Komori out in that more right attacking area is gonna hopefully make some stuff here. Okamura has an effort. It's tipped wide. Halfway through this first half, they've had 0 shots on target. They have had 60% of the ball, but our counter-attacking system seems to be working. Komori's actually on a 7.5 rating out on the attacking right-hand side. Very keen to see how Hashizume can do there longer term. Ahmed whipping this in, by the way. Men lurking around. It's cleared away as far as attacking. Ahmed with an option maybe to get it back in. Mitsuhashi at right back. I mean, if he scores, what a scene it would be. The shot's gone over. I never really believed the right back would score there. Omarov with the ball to feet. He drops deep. He looks to switch it. I think he's overhit the pass there to Okamura, but Komori has found it and puts it back in. The 17-year-old almost had another. Ahmed, wand of a left foot. What can you do, my Pakistani prince? He whips it in and he puts it on Vinicius Deniz's head. I mean, what a moment. I mean, I say that. Vinicius Deniz is now going to want a wage rise, isn't he? He already wants it. He's going to want it more. But no, what a moment for Ahmed. Out on the left-hand side, £325,000 for a corner merchant. What a great decision that is. We double our lead before the break. We deserve that. And I mean, when you look at the stats, how can you not be happy with how that's going? As the home team, we're looking really, really good. Mitsuhashi has picked up a booking at right back. I'm just going to play things safe here. Hattori, I don't think is a massive downgrade from Mitsuhashi in terms of overall ability. And I'd quite like to keep 11 men on the pitch. So far, the new signing in Nakano in goal has not had much to do, has he? In fact, he's not had anything to do. The ref's given a penalty there. The ref has given a penalty. It's going to be Deniz over it for his second goal of the game and our third of the match. And, well, I was about to say Nakano in goal's not had anything to do for us. Their goalkeeper's had a lot to do. He has not done it. Not that he's to blame for a penalty. It's 3-0. Ataki's picked up at booking at centre-back. I'm just going to bring in Takeshi. Why not just rotate things around here? Yoniyama on for Lucas Ferreira as well. Let's give some of the younger players some game time. You know what? Watanabe on for Deniz. I don't want Deniz getting a hat-trick. Then I want more of a wage rise. Got a set piece here. Yoniyama, fresh as a daisy, on off the bench. The 18-year-old. He has creative muscles in his body. Creative mind as well. Can he make something creative happen? He lays it to Komori, who cannons a shot against the crossbar. Fukatsu can keep it kind of in. But then we'll never know what he did with the ball. Presumably he just kicked it straight out for the goal kick, which we're now seeing here. As well, we win the second ball yet again. Omarov with not the most inspiring of passes there, but Okamura wins it back handsomely. Komori's looked very good out on the right-hand side. Hattori, Watanabe, the subs linking up. Back with Watanabe, who shoots. And I don't know why I was shown that. 5 minutes left of this game. They've had a couple of shots on target in this second half, but they have not looked close to scoring. We have been absolutely rampant, and that man is going to get a red card. He's just murdered Komori. I've just talked about how well he's done, and then they've done that. I mean, that was just needless, wasn't it? That was mean. He's not injured, thankfully, but Herrera there has just killed a man. It finishes 3-0. They subbed off their goalkeeper in the 88th minute. Was he injured? Wait, sorry. They subbed off their goalkeeper in the 88th minute in response to the sending off? Football man? Who did they bring in? They had a sending off, so they subbed off the goalkeeper. Yeah, I don't understand either. I think they're going to get relegated. Let's look at the positives. We're top of the bloody league. Ignore the fact that we've just played against a really bad team. Take a look at Matsumoto Yamaga. We're taking them on in our next game. Their media prediction is 14th. They were only promoted back to J2 a few years ago. This should be another winnable game. It's going to be maybe a bit trickier on the road, especially it's in 4 days' time. I'm going to get straight to it. Okay, folks, game number 2 today. Again, apologies for the lack of an away day. This is all very last minute today. As I'm sitting here recording it, it's about to turn 10 a.m. In fact, there's a video of F1 Manager about to go up right now. I'm juggling lots of plates. This is the plate we need to focus on. Matsumoto Yamaga. They drew their opening game of the year. They're not a bad little team, though. Now, annoyingly, when it comes to our team, I thought that Komori had escaped injury. No, he got a gashed up a leg with that red card challenge. He's actually unavailable for this game. What it means is that because of the fact that if we look at things here, Hachizume is still suspended. I have to play Patata at right attacking mid. He is one of 3 options I have to play there. Because I'm bringing him in as a foreign player, I have to pick either Omarov, Ahmed, Lucas Freya, or Denise to drop today. Oh, I don't even know who should be dropped. They all played well last game. This feels really, really unfair. I'm going to drop Ahmed, I think, just because I think I kind of trust Kayanoki and Sakurai as left mid options to come in and do the job. I'm going to bring in Sakurai. Ahmed, of course, now can't even be on the bench, so further shuffling required. But if I do want to find a little bit of positive news, whilst the left-hand side is going to be a bit weaker, we have got Ono back in at left back. So at least we've got the new left back in. We're just losing the new left midfielder. That's going to be annoying, isn't it? This is going to be a common thing I have to deal with this year. Rest of the team, however, is unchanged for this game. I couldn't really justify dropping Omarov, of course, up top. Okamura looked really good in that last game. Hopefully, we can get another win here. Suspect this one's going to be a little bit trickier, though. It is going to be a 4-4-2 versus 4-4-2 battle here. Batata, of course, that making us a little bit asymmetric. I feel like it's the equivalent of putting a little bit of dye in your hair. You know, a little bit of a flash of pink or red. That's what the right attacking mid is within this tactical system. I'm hoping it's not going to be too big a departure in terms of the success we can get from what we've experienced already. It's a pretty minor change to the system on the overall balance. I'm just going to have to hope that Denise, from a defensive point of view, as that right centre mid, is going to be able to do the defending when called upon. Meanwhile, Yamazaki here is on the overlap, giving it to Saito. It's worked nice. And then Nakano, I said he wasn't called into action last game. He's made 1 save. And the second effort goes over the bar. The keeper looked good there. And now, well, I'm going to hope we can look good with another new signing as Ono throws it to Omarov. Lucas Ferreira has it. It's given to Sakurai. The left mid brought in today, squares it. Okamura can't finish it. The header loops up. It's ping-ponging around in the box. And I'm not sure how we didn't score there. They've got 2 bookings within the first 25 minutes of this game. I feel like that has to bode well, especially because one is the left mid that I imagine Batata is, well, at the very least, attempting to bully. 10 minutes left of the half. There's not been that many shots in this game. We've only had 30% of the ball. But of course, we are looking at our counter-attacking style of play, looking to catch them on the break. Is there even going to be a highlight before half-time? We're running out of time for it. 2 minutes going. I was going to say gone. That is not gone yet. The ball's whipped in. Ataki's there. And, well, a highlight right at the end of the half. It's 0-0 at the break. And I'm just going to tell the players, it's not good enough. We need to be better. Omarov, 6.4 rating today. I'm not going to make any reactionary changes at the break. I might live to regret that. They made some changes at the break. There is a kickoff highlight immediately, and it's another one of their centre mids who's on a booking, playing the ball forward. Yoshida, though, as centre back, has won the ball well. Okamura dinks it. Is Omarov onside here? 1-on-1, you back him to finish it. I didn't expect him to finish it like that. This shot Cannons in off the underside of the crossbar. That's the way to start the second half. I was a little bit worried here that he maybe had too much time to kind of think about the finish and what he was going to do. If he did think about it, he executed on that thinking too. What a finish that is. The keeper stood no chance. I want to sit here and get really carried away about the fact we're 1-0 up in another game. You know, back-to-back wins, back-to-back clean sheets. We need to remind ourselves there's still 30 minutes left of this game. And well, there's a long time left of the season. These are two games that on paper are weaker teams in the division. If we could beat them, of course, it would be a bit of a statement of intent, especially, you know, getting 6 points on the board early. An away win would be good too, but I don't want to count our chickens before they hatch. Whilst we've had the better of the play despite not having as much of the ball from purely a chance creation perspective, I can't afford to underestimate them here as Nakata plays it forward. Minami, Suzuki through, scores. I was hoping the flag was going to be raised. It was not raised. Ball was just nicely worked through the middle, it has to be said. It just punctured a hole in our team. I think that's a tacky. Caught a little flat-footed. Nakano beaten at the near post. Maybe a little question mark there. Okay, I'm going to make some changes here. Batata has really struggled at right attack in mid. I don't have another player who can play right attack in mid, so he's just going to have to stay on. Lucas Ferreira's not the best game ever. Yoniyama on Yuka, my friend. Elsewhere, do I want to make more changes? There's players I look at here who I could take off, and I don't feel like they've necessarily played that badly. Also, with all the injuries we've got and suspensions and the way we've had to shuffle the team, we're just missing players like Takagi who would be useful to bring out on here in the attacking department. I mean, it's not good for our centre-backs, is it? 2 6.4 ratings here. I'm going to bring in Takeshi, I think, for Yoshida. But in terms of the options on the bench, I feel really underwhelmed. I think I will take off Sakurai for Kayanoki just for fresh legs. But yeah, I mean, we've just done a transfer window and I'm looking at the bench feeling unamused. That is not a great sign. I'm going to blame it entirely on players being unavailable. Okay, were the changes made there? Yeah, the changes were made. I paused during the replay. So the changes have been made and then there's instantly a highlight. Imagine if now, well, Kayanoki gets an assist or something, or Yoniyama's involved. Then I'll feel like I've made genius changes. Speaking of the devil, here is Yoniyama. I really believed he was going to score there when he pulled the trigger. Sadly, it's gone over. 20 minutes left of this game. We've done a little bit of chasing in this match due to not having the ball. Now, we're going to just push and attack that little bit more. Let's try and get the ball forward. Let's try and make something happen with our more attacking system. I feel like we have been the better team here. Maybe going to leave ourselves open at the back, but I feel like if we want to go up this year, which feels like a bit of a bold ask, these are the kind of games we have to at least try and chase a win out of, even on the road. There's 4 minutes of added time here. We've not looked good in this game, have we? By comparison to the first. I mean, we've avoided defeat, I guess, but when you look at the stats, we created a lot. Finishing has definitely let us down today. I mean, with that result there, we are still in the playoffs. I mean, we only have to finish top 6 to have a shot at promotion, but yeah, Matsumoto Yamaga's media prediction was 15th. That is behind ours. The fact we failed to beat them, a little bit, not concerning, just not ideal. I mean, Ono made his debut. Did he have a good debut? He got a 7.2. The left back did fine. Anyway, folks, in terms of the plan for next episode, I'm not entirely sure yet. I feel like it's a new year, it's a new league. We need to see what's going on in different competitions, how the league table's looking up, but I promise we'll be back for some kind of entertaining game next time. I hope to see you on Monday for it. I know I said it yesterday, but again, just an apology for the sporadic nature of episodes over the course of the last week. Still recovering. Kind of crazy my voice isn't back, although I've been playing a lot of F1 Manager and talking a lot in these videos, so I'm probably just self-inflicting it. Definitely not helping my recovery, is it? Hopefully my voice is better on Monday. Hopefully I see you guys then too. Have a lovely weekend. I'll see you on Monday for more. I'm out.